I'm Linda, one of the vets from Pooch Mutt, and today I'm doing a video all about heat stroke. Now that we're coming into summer, certainly heat stroke is something I'm expecting to see in my clinic. We normally get a few cases every year. A lot of dogs, we can successfully treat and they're managed quite easily, but sadly it can be a fatal condition, so we do need to take it seriously. Dogs can develop heat stroke just from exercising outside in the sun, but even from sitting in their garden if it's very warm, or from being inside a vehicle, particularly if the engine's not on and there's no air conditioning. Those who are most prone to heat stroke would include the flat-nosed breeds, so pugs, Shih Tzus, Frenchies, but also any dog who's less able to cope with the heat, so elderly dogs and very young puppies, or those who may be unwell, particularly if they've got signs like vomiting and diarrhea. First symptoms of heat stroke that you might start to see would include panting, and your dog may also drool a bit. But as things progress, they might develop confusion, they may seem wobbly, they can have very bright red gums, or sometimes their gums can be pale, and their eyes can start to seem glazed. So if we're noticing signs like this, we certainly want to get our dog veterinary attention. Straight away, what we want to do is bring them to a cool, shaded area. We want to try and cool them down. We can put cool water on them. We don't want to use cold water. Ideally, we're using tap water, so that's kind of about 15 degrees Celsius. We're putting that all over them. Try and avoid the mouth, just in case they were to swallow some water, particularly if they're feeling a bit weak or confused. It might go down the wrong tube, and it could go down into their lungs. Sometimes you might see online it suggests putting them under a cool blanket or a wet blanket, but that's not advised. That can actually trap heat inside. Get them in a vehicle, ideally with air conditioning blasted up, and bring them straight to the veterinary clinic so they can be treated. How can we prevent heat stroke? So I think this is, where we want to focus our attention, and it's all about kind of being sensible. And if it's really hot, your dog doesn't need to go out for a run or a play. We can burn off energy inside, with training sessions or brain games. They can go outside in the shade, maybe play in a paddling pool, and we want to always make sure they have shade when they are outside. We want to try and walk them early morning before the ground has gotten hot, or after the sun has set. And then there are lovely things we can do at home, and that includes things like using their food as treats. And so what I'm doing at the moment with my dog Ruffy, he really likes these shrimp and coconut treats. So I'm actually mixing them with a bit of chicken water, so literally just water that I've boiled my chicken in for dinner that night, and then putting them in his Kong and freezing that, and they really enjoy that. And you can even put them or some kibble inside ice cubes, and again they love to just lick that cold water while they're getting a little treat at the same time. And you can get their wet food, you can put it on a lick mat and freeze that. So these are all really nice ways of keeping them cool, and also giving a little bit of enrichment as well. A final point I just wanted to raise is that when it's really hot outside, some dogs don't eat as much, and that's generally because they're not moving as much, they're not burning as many calories. And so don't panic if they're off their food. If they're otherwise well, they're not losing weight, they probably just don't need as much food as usual. But if you like what you could do to kind of tempt them, you can add some of their wet food to dry food. If they normally eat kibble, you can add a little bit of salmon oil as well, and that can just make their meals a little bit tastier in the summertime.